I'm Leslie, 34.
I'm sitting in the cozy living room of our Seattle apartment, cradling my 6-month-old son in my arms. The late afternoon sun filters through the windows, casting a warm glow on the floor where my husband, Ethan, is sorting through photos for our baby album. As I look around, I notice that there are no pictures of my parents on the walls. Instead, there are photos of Ethan's parents, my friends from the support group, and colleagues who have become like family. A sudden buzz from my phone on the side table startles me. I shift my son slightly to reach for it. An unknown number flashes on the screen, and a text message makes my stomach clench for a brief moment. Leslie, I know you had a son. You cannot be this cruel. You cannot keep a grandchild from his grandmother. This is wrong. Call me Vivian. 2 years ago, these words would have sent me into a spiral of guilt. But now, I feel nothing but a calm certainty. Ethan looks up, recognizing the expression on my face. Your mother?
He asks.
I nod and turn the screen so he can see. The same manipulative tactics and language that once held so much power over me now seem as hollow as a bad script. It all started on my wedding day. I was standing behind the garden door, my fingers trembling against the painted wood. I peeked through the crack at the rows of white chairs on the emerald lawn. My heart sank when I saw the 2 empty seats in the front row, decorated with satin ribbons and small bouquets of tulips. Those were the seats where my parents, Vivian and Richard, should have been sitting. Behind me, I could hear the guests shifting in their seats and whispering. Where are her parents? Did something happen? I thought they were just running late. The string quartet finished their piece, and the final notes hung in the air like an unanswered question. I closed my eyes, trying hard not to let the tears fall after spending so much time on my makeup. Ethan's voice, soft and steady, pulled me back from the edge of despair. He was standing there in his navy blue suit, his green eyes filled with a mix of concern and anger that he was trying to hide for my sake. He took my hand and said, "They're not coming, are they?" I forced a smile that cracked at the edges and replied, "Let's not keep everyone waiting." I shouldn't have been surprised. I had spent my whole life chasing my parents' approval, always taking a back seat to my sister, Lily. Lily was a rising star in the fashion industry, and her face was often splashed across fashion magazines. I remembered when I was 18 and brought home the news of winning the national coding competition. My father had glanced up from his newspaper, nodded, and said, "That's nice, dear." Then he immediately called out to my mother, "Vivian, did you see Lily's new Elle feature?" They put her magazine cover above the fireplace, while my certificate ended up in a drawer. Even on my wedding day, a part of me still hoped that my parents would burst through the doors at the last minute with some excuse. But I knew they wouldn't. Ethan's father, Mr. Thompson, appeared beside us. He was handsome in his suit, and his mustache matched the garden roses. His eyes flicked to the empty seats and then back to me, kind but not pitying. "Everything's ready when you are," he said quietly. Ethan's mother, Mrs. Thompson, glided over and adjusted a flower in my hair. She was the one who had spent the previous day arranging every flower herself, coordinated with the caterers while asking about my favorite desserts, and had always treated me as if I was worthy of her son. "You look beautiful, Leslie," she whispered. The string quartet started the wedding march, and the garden doors swung open. All 150 guests stood up to watch as I walked down the aisle alone. There was no father to give me away, no mother dabbing tears with a handkerchief. But there was Ethan, waiting for me with a smile that always made me feel found. The ceremony passed in a blur until we were pronounced husband and wife. As the applause erupted, we turned to face our guests. I almost forgot about the empty seats until the reception began. The DJ announced, "Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the father-daughter dance." The words hit me like a physical blow. I froze, my champagne glass halfway to my lips. A crushing silence fell over the room. Then Mr. Thompson stepped forward and extended his hand. "May I have this honor, Leslie?" The kindness in his eyes nearly broke me. I placed my hand in his and let him lead me to the center of the dance floor. As we swayed to the music, I saw some guests wiping away tears, while others smiled with approval. "Thank you," I whispered. "Family isn't always blood," he said simply. During the reception, my phone vibrated in the hidden pocket of my wedding dress. I slipped away to check it and found 3 messages from Lily. The latest one read, "Mom and Dad are devastated you didn't make sure they got invitations. How could you forget your own parents?" I knew they were lying. I had sent their invitations myself, checked the tracking number, and confirmed delivery. When I returned to the reception, I overheard fragments of conversations. My Aunt Helen was saying to my cousin, "Remember Leslie's college graduation? They left early because Lily had that important casting call." Someone else murmured, "Vivian and Richard care more about appearances than actual relationships. Always have. Poor girl, not showing up to her wedding." Ethan found me and didn't ask what was wrong. He just said, "Ready to get out of here?" I looked around at the celebration, at his family, who had welcomed me without hesitation, at our friends, and at the beautiful garden where I had become Mrs. Thompson despite the empty seats. "Yes," I said, feeling a new sense of resolve. After the honeymoon in Bali, the glow faded quickly. 3 weeks of silence from my parents, and I finally gathered the courage to call them. "You forgot to invite us," my mother's cold, accusatory voice came through the phone. "We never got the invitation, Leslie." I opened my laptop with a trembling hand. "That's not true. I sent both email and physical invitations. I have the receipts." She dismissed me. "Don't be dramatic." I pulled up the email confirmation. "I'm looking at the receipt right now." The email was delivered and opened on April 15th at 10:12 a.m. Dad even replied with, "Thanks for letting us know." There was a brief silence, and then she hedged, "Well, sometimes these systems make mistakes." I also showed her the tracking information for the physical invitation, which was delivered to their mailbox on April 13th. But she shifted to the Wounded Innocent Act, saying, "Maybe we didn't feel welcome. You know how busy we are with Lily's career taking off again. Maybe you didn't make it clear how important it was." I realized then that they were protecting their image, not our relationship. They had chosen to skip their eldest daughter's wedding and were now trying to rewrite history. I ended the call and sat at the kitchen counter, scrolling through texts from the past few months. The patterns were painfully clear. Mom's guilt, trips, Dad's vague excuses, and Lily's self-centered texts. Lily's wedding was coming up, and she and my parents were putting more pressure on me. Lily texted Ethan, saying, "You should help Leslie behave better. Networking with successful family could benefit your career." Ethan's response was immediate. "I only care about Leslie's happiness, not her networking value." I decided to stand up for myself. I compiled all the evidence: invitation receipts, tracking numbers, text messages, and emails, and created a timeline of my communication attempts before the wedding. I sent an email to my extended family, simply stating the facts. "Mom and Dad, I have attached documentation showing that you received both electronic and physical invitations to our wedding. You chose not to come. I won't participate in pretending otherwise." The news spread through the family. Many relatives who had initially believed my parents' lies changed their minds after seeing the evidence. Lily's wedding was a disaster. Half of the guests didn't show up, and there were fights within the family. Looking back, I'm grateful for this journey. It taught me that family is about love, not obligation. I've built a new family with Ethan and those who truly care about me. I've learned to stop waiting for people who never plan to show up and to embrace the freedom that comes with speaking the truth. As I look down at my son, I know that I'm exactly where I need to be.